So I was going to do my Harold Ray character, which is a thing I do when I improvise. And I host a show called So You Think You Have Nerves of Steel once a month at a bar called The Hungry Brain. But the girl that I'm dating right now took me out to what was more or less a frat party. I did a bunch of brutal competitive drinking last night with green Bud Lights. And so I don't think I have improvisation in me today. So I'm just going to be Jacob today. Just know that if I had done Harold Ray, what I would have done is I probably would have sang a Waylon Jennings song, and I would have told a story about making a porno in a trailer, and it would have been offensive, and you all would have either been loving it or hating me. But I did slick my hair back, so I'll read with my pomade look for you. You can sort of get. I've got the wife beater on. I'm sort of there, but not mentally. Physically, the body is willing, but the spirit's weak. So what I thought I would do instead is read a little bit from another Chicago magazine, 49, which is an animal book we put together last year on the topic of madness. This is a writer that used to live in Chicago named Nicolette Bond. She since moved to Denver, which sucks because she's awesome, and hopefully maybe she'll come back at some point. She found out that we were doing this book of animals. I got really interested in ancient bestiaries. The early science or zoology was basically religious figures would read scripture in nature and convene with the animals and observe them and then relate their behavior to scripture passages. And this happened for most of the monotheistic religions, especially the Jewish religion, Muslim and Christian religions. And everyone from Pliny the Elder to whomever wrote these bestiarium vocabulums is what they were called. And so when Nicolette found out we were doing this, she was like, oh shit, I have to write about my goat Yoshi. Her family has a goat, his name is Yoshi. So this is the Song of Yoshi, which is pretty crazy and fits with madness, I think. Once upon a time, a bee was orienting itself on a fence post when suddenly it was impaled by a horn belonging to Yoshi's head. As he was dying, the bee thought that it all might have something to do with love. One of Yoshi's tragedies was that he had fallen head over hoof for a sexy wooden leg. Mayan tonic, freeze tag, sculpture maker, old Tennessee scaregoat. And every time Yoshi got close enough to smell the rain and hay matted in her fur, she would faint. Another misery was that Yoshi had a black banty rooster named Uncle Kenny that haunted his pen. Yoshi couldn't tell if Uncle Kenny was inside of his head or outside. A common condition. A very common condition, he thought. More things about everyone's favorite goat. Yoshi hated worms because they were real deal natural and had sleek lines designed with their purpose so clearly in mind. No extraneous appendages, no eyes to see other brethren in. The phrase got stuck in Yoshi's head, stuck for its music, stuck for no reason. This was standard. Sometimes when it happened, he would dig a hole in the ground and lay in it and say, I am not in a hole in the ground. Sometimes a June bug would land in Yoshi's fur and remind him of his body. These are precious details, but the bigger scoop is that on every full moon, Yoshi could speak like a lost man, words located somewhere between the beast world and the human world, letters with auras and wild energy. Let's imagine that by fool or by star, you have been led to Yoshi's pen. You are eating miniature sandwiches and drinking moonshine. You can hear the wind blowing through the bee's wing on Yoshi's horn. You can hear Yoshi's big, big love hit the ground with a thud. You can hear the power move inward from the four corners and gather into his chest. And you can hear yourself staying alive as quietly as possible. Yoshi feels pressure on his heart and head, and he tries, but the words commit Japanese love suicide by falling on the thick sword of his tongue. So he stops trying and slowly chews and swallows a can, and it is good. And just before sunrise, just before you have given up, the birds start in. And even though he hates their wings, Yoshi starts to sing with them. What happened can taste good. Song in my head still alive every time. Funny eyes, you so funny. Eyes getting tired of Banty man on my land and my pen up in my straw. No word for can that I think speaks highly enough for can. What happened last night? Tried to get close to her and she faked death. Pretty standard. My horns feel hot to the touch. My bee has no blood.